An amazing rescue by the FBI of a man from here in Wake Forest 5 days ago. You won't believe the details. Breaking news this morning and a story stretching from the Triangle to Georgia.
And what a story it is. About midnight, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies in Atlanta rescued a Wake Forest man who had been kidnapped at his home. WREL's Layla Santiago is live in Wake Forest to bring us up to date on this major story overnight. Layla.
Well, good morning. FBI now confirming that Frank Janssen is safe after being kidnapped from his home here in Wake Forest 5 days ago. Now, we have confirmed that Janssen is the father of an assistant Wake County district attorney. She is an attorney that who prosecutes a lot of gang cases.
Now to a story that is making national headlines today. 5 days after he was kidnapped from his home and taken to an Atlanta apartment, a Wake Forest man is safe tonight.
The FBI says his kidnapping was an elaborate plot. It appears to be directly related to his daughter's work as a Wake County prosecutor. Frank Janssen was reported missing on Saturday. The FBI rescued him last night from an Atlanta apartment just before midnight. 5 people were arrested. They all appeared in federal court late this afternoon. We have team coverage over the next 90 minutes. Brian Mims is in Atlanta digging up information about the suspects. Julia Sims is in the neighborhood where Janssen lives. We begin, however, with Amanda Lamb, who has more on the investigation and the motive. Amanda?
David, what an unbelievable turn of events in the last 24 hours.
Frank Janssen's nightmare started Saturday morning when he was kidnapped and shocked with a taser at the front door of his Wake Forest home.
He spent 5 nights in the hands of a group of very dangerous people.
Monday, Janssen's wife received a text message from kidnappers threatening his life and making demands. She also received a photograph of her husband tied to a chair.
We can only imagine the uncertainty, confusion, and fear he experienced.
Behind the scenes, local, state, and federal law enforcement worked around the clock to locate Janssen.
I can tell you Mr. Janssen was targeted by a group as part of an elaborate kidnapping plot.
Investigators linked the text messages to a cell phone they say was being used by 49-year-old Kelvin Melton, an inmate at a prison in Butner.
Melton was previously prosecuted by Frank Janssen's daughter, who is an assistant district attorney, and as a result, Melton received a state sentence of life without parole.
Wednesday night, the FBI intercepted a call from kidnappers discussing how they were going to kill Janssen and bury his body. Just before midnight, they entered an apartment in Atlanta and rescued him.
I can tell you that 5 individuals have been charged with federal kidnapping charges.
And the Janssen family, we need time to heal from this horrifying experience.
Now to Frank Janssen's neighbors who live with fear and concern for the past 5 days, wondering what happened. Police couldn't give any details of what they knew until Janssen was found. Obviously, tonight they are very relieved that he is safe. Julia Sims continues our team coverage from the neighborhood. Julia, I do imagine, though, they are still very concerned.
They certainly are. And, you know, Monica, this is a story that's garnered a lot of attention. We've seen national media here in the Heritage neighborhood throughout the day. Neighbors tell us that everyone had their own theory as to what may have happened, but I don't know if any of it really came close to the real thing. The bottom line tonight, Frank Janssen is safe and alive, and neighbors here say that makes it a good day. While Frank Janssen's home sat surrounded by crime scene tape, neighbors' thoughts understandably went to the dark side.
Oh, I was very disturbed.
But the mood in the neighborhood noticeably lightened as news spread about Janssen's rescue.
I was beginning to think, you know, it's been so long, I didn't think we were going to find him alive, but I'm very happy that we did. I've been praying for him every night.
The 5 suspects were in court for the first time this afternoon in Atlanta. WREL's Brian Mims was the only Raleigh reporter in the courtroom during that hearing. He continues our coverage now live in front of the apartment where Frank Janssen was rescued. Brian.
Monica, this is it right here, number 263 in the Forest Cove Apartments, right across the street from a federal penitentiary. The rescue team had barged into the unit next door. You can see a new door fitting the frame. Law officers, yellow tape, they're all out of here now. But authorities spent much of the day in this apartment complex interviewing neighbors, collecting evidence. It was here around midnight when that elite FBI team swarmed in, finding 63-year-old Frank Janssen unharmed. We spoke with a woman who lives next door, Shankisa Jones, who told us she heard some things in the neighboring unit in the last few days. She wouldn't elaborate. I asked if she noticed anything suspicious. No. She lives here with her little girl and had just come back from the store last night when it all went down.
Me and my daughter had to lay our head there. Now we got to fear for our safety. I can't sleep there. Last night we had to sleep in the car.
I also asked if she knew anything about the people who lived next door. She did not. Now, the 5 suspects all appeared together in this federal courthouse downtown Atlanta at 4 this afternoon. They wore shackles on their legs, handcuffs. They were still in street clothes, T-shirts, jeans, and they told the judge they understood the kidnapping charges against them. All are being represented by a court-appointed attorney. They will be jailed here in Atlanta. They'll remain in Atlanta. They have a bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday morning, also in Atlanta, and a probable cause hearing set for April 23rd. That, too, will take place here. At some point, they'll be taken to North Carolina, but it's unclear when. Monica.
Oh, my gosh. Across from a federal prison, all this happened. Unbelievable. Brian Mims live in Atlanta tonight. Thanks.